we need to teach. And a lot of people telling me, you're creating competition for yourself. Guys, competition creates business. Customer decides who's the best. Not us, they decide. So let me wash his head and then we're gonna talk more.
Hey Arthur, what do you recommend? Sulfate-free shampoo?
Not only sulfate-free, paraben, sodium chloride. Guys, we have to know one thing, and a lot of sodium chloride, harsh detergents. Paraben, I already said. Alcohol, it's been for 20 years. We already know that alcohol is not good, it dries up. A lot of people don't know that the skin is the biggest organ in a human's body. So it's important what we put on. Now, the right thing, when you do a scissor over comb haircut, the hair has to be clean. It cannot have any gels or pomade. It's not going to be the same effect when you're doing a clean hair. Now, I always say, for the beginners especially, was when the customer comes in, sometimes he's in a zone. He has a mold or he has a scar and he doesn't tell you about that. So what I like to do is, first of all, we use individual combs in NYC Barber Shop Museum for each customer. I have 2 different ones. I like to work with a small comb, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. To me, I like to say hello not only to the customer, but I like to say hello to the hair itself. First I comb it. I try to see where he has colics, if he has any moles, and I always try to be gentle. And recommendation for you guys as well, it's a human being. Some barbers are very rough. They don't feel the skin, they're just too rough. Or when they do the buzz cut, customer sitting, not moving, they put the hand on top of it, and this is not a show. Again, guys, this is my advices, this is my point of view. Okay, maybe some people don't put the hand, it's just, when I went to a barber, I don't like when they put the hand on top of my head and they cut around it. So I try to put myself in a position if the customer would like it or not.
What about when it comes to kids?
I was just gonna say, if kids move and you wanna hold them, that's different. That's a different thing, yes. But
Especially the hard to control kids. You know?
Some people don't even cut kids.
well, I already see, of course I know him already. For instance, his hair, you see, it's full here, but the bottom doesn't grow as full as the rest, you see? So now I'm telling to myself to be careful around here so it doesn't open up and you don't see his skin. So I usually make natural for him, not a straight line. I'll show it to you. This haircut we can start 2 ways. Some stylists start from the top, or some stylists, they start from the side. In his case, I always start from the top. And again, not big portions. You're gonna go about an inch? About an inch?
Sure.
And again, you always can go shorter if the customer came first time, but you cannot go longer. Also a trick, and Rico will agree with me now. A lot of customers, they come in Do 1.5. When you do 1.5, sometimes customer freaks out. What the hell did you do? Why is it so short? Just because somebody before didn't tell him the right number or he lied, some barbers do that. I always go with the higher number just in case. Even the customer says, yeah, I'm sure, do 1.5. I always go with either 2 or 3.5. The trick is with the scissors, even with the buzzer, it's like you're doing a floor. Everything goes by square footage. If you look at the head, it also divides like square footage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you go and go and go. So you break up in sections. Well, now what I'm doing it cutting comb over fingers, and I'll show you the technique that I usually use to texture and to layer it. This part right here grows the fastest. The bottom by the ears, the bottom where the neck is, and by the, how you call this? The temple? By the temple. So try to cut it, because sometimes we forget. The trick also with this type of hairs also, when it's wet, when we do a cut, I always check after I dry it as well, because if we leave some mistakes, when the hair is wet, you don't see them. But as soon as the hair dries up, you see the mistakes. Around the ears. Have to be nice and clean. So I like to go over a few times, and I go against the grain so all the hair comes out. No. And I'm gonna make more natural is after I dry it, I use number 1, I'll show it to you, and just taper it more. Around the ears, guys, a lot of guys, they get confused. That's what I told you before, how you position yourself around the ears. I like to be where I cut, that's where my body is. Some guys cut like this. I can't, I have to be, totally see what I do. I don't go all the way down for now. Now, this is the techniques of layering from top to bottom. Now I took the mass off, and now we'll make the line, because when the mass is there and when you make a line, it's, how do you say, it's very visible and very thick line. And again, I love the bottom for the buzzer. I know my techniques that I use, it's not easy ones, and I try to do it not fast, because I do it much faster when you guys not around. And again, when you do the scissors over comb, you have to feel how you position your comb. So this way, if you start off on the bottom and you're putting in the comb closer to the skin, it means when you go up, you gotta pull your comb. So it's nice and layered. See what I'm doing? Going up, and it means I'm taking more down. On the bottom, I go in. I always say, guys, barbering, not just a vocation, it's artistry. Can you imagine a customer comes in 6-7 months, and we have this. Sir, how would you like it? I don't know. You tell me. So now you have to give him a few ideas. And not only ideas, you have to perform the haircut so he likes it. From this side, I go this way. From that side, you go this way. It's a lot to do how your hand is working also. The wrist has to be very flexible. Yeah, most of the job your left hand does. Right hand is just a helper. You control it with your left hand if you're righty. Now, we can take a little bit more off from here. It's been what, 2 months, right?
I think, yeah, like September. 3 months.
His hair, I don't like to thin too much, but I like to texture with the scissors, which is this technique. You texturing and layering at the same time.
So, question: Your that technique, are you sectioning it by the back of the comb and using it as that part of the comb as a lift, then cutting the hair? Okay.
Yeah, against the grain I go.
Okay.
Right, the scissor lifts it up the hair too, right?
No, you can, yeah, because I do it fast. I do it with bump, bump, yeah, like this, yeah.
The scissors also.
You're right, that's a good question.
Now, I'm be honest, that's my first time seeing that technique. So you know when you see something new, it's new to you, you want like a little more information on it. I like that. So of course we're gonna test it out small.
And again, I take it small portions. I don't take big chunk over here because then you just make a hole in it.
Right.
You see what I do? I lift it up and I take small. I pull it.
You're just like slightly grazing the hair, not just making straight cuts.
You see what happens, right?
And of course you can only do that with wet hair. You wouldn't try that with dry hair at all.
you'll see when I dry him,
Right.
I will do the technique again because it will tell me where I left it a little bit more, where less. It's still somewhere you see the frizziness, but you will see more when it dries up.
Okay.
Usually take it, nice and even. We have a little bit more on this side. A little bit more on this side. So I gotta work on this side just a tiny bit. And again, your mirror is your helper too. Work with the mirror, especially after you dry it. You will see if the two sides are even, if the top is even. Yeah, I left it a little bit long on this side.
But also the haircut is growing different, right, Arthur? Like you have to wash out.
As you see, he has one, he has two, he has three colics, one right here. So yeah, those colics are danger zone.
And also, a lot of barbers would just blame their cowlicks on a unperfect haircut, but you have to work around those cowlicks. They say like, oh no, because you have a little cowlick there, that's why it's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Not, right.
Actually, I try to embrace it.
But
Right.
I will
Work around that,
use the
yeah.
finishes on him just a bit because as you see over here, it grows naturally a little fuller than here.
So it's like a texture shift.
Mm-hmm.
Texture shift.
You see it too. You see this chunk right here?
Right.
You can see that it's fuller
Right.
than here. It grows naturally fuller.
Right.
So just this part, I will texture it with the grain, not against the grain. That's it. You can do a little bit on the side so it falls better, not too much. After you thin it, try to shake it down because there's a lot of loose hair. So now I'm gonna dry him. And after I dry him, I will check everything again, especially I will work on the bottom. That, my technique, I usually do with the number one over the comb. You see this part, guys? It's all still here. I left it. So now I call it detail work. This is a detail work right now. Okay, so what I do is I open it all the way so it's one. And I slowly will start blending it. As you can see also here, it needs to be blended more. That's the reason I like the small comb, is why it's much easier to get around the ears. You don't have that flat top comb, which is, to me, it's not comfortable to me. I don't know why.
The small.
The white one that comes with the magic clip?
Right. Yeah.
I got it.
It's not too big.
Yeah, it's not like a flat one.
Around the ears, guys. Even you did it with the scissors, you still leave something. So I like to close it to the zero and go up, like also, like you're drawing a line. That's it. And then I will do it with the outliner again. I'm preparing him for the outliner. Yeah, this is all gotta go. You see how difficult his neck is or no? It grows very thin on the bottom.
Right.
Guys, this is a very easy techniques. It's just you have to practice them, that's all. You're not shaving, right? So I'm not gonna make a line. I'm just gonna make them thinner. So now I'm cleaning it up with the outliner, which is nice and clean. And again, the line I will do more of a natural. So I'm just gonna follow his,
Not too in.
not
but
too
not
in,
cutting,
and
so
more European if you don't understand.
And not like high either. Not high.
No.
With the scissor cuts, the line has to go natural the way it goes, so you
Right.
just follow it. Because a lot of times they go like that, so it looks like a V.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
And
good.
it looks too high sometimes.
But
yeah.
for that was the trick that I showed you guys, is to get that look, you need to first layer it and taper it. Because some barbers, they don't do it. On the long hair, they do the line, but after 2 weeks, how can you tell between a good haircut and a bad haircut? Anybody knows?
So growth for your hair. Right.
7 days.
Right.
Within 7 days, you will know if the haircut is good.
Right.
I mean, the customer, not you, because he's already home.
Right. He's very.
Especially if you put in and maintain in between that stuff. That says a lot of sense too.
And also the trick is, after you open the cape, because when you put the cape on, the skin gets tighter. When I open them, the skin will get loose. I will again check the bottom, if it's even, if it's all connected. Yeah, if you see guys, I didn't bother him. I didn't tilt his hair nowhere. He's sitting the way he's sitting. I tried to adjust for him. You can tilt them a little bit, just a bit. That's it. And now, that effect gave me the wall, not this. That effect that I wanted it, that buzzer gave me, it prepared me to outline it. And now, as if you can see, I'll show you guys some leftovers. You see this? This is what I'm gonna do. When I told you about when it's dry, you will see a little imperfection, just like a diamond has. So now I'm gonna work on them while the hair is dry.
I know what you said, a little imperfection like a diamond has.
Yeah,
So I remember you telling me that you have a background in jewelry. So it's like you compare some similarities to the, I guess, sculpting a diamond to sculpting and creating a haircut.
well, I forgot to tell you guys, just because I grew up in the barbering industry, when we came to this country, I saw boys that working on 47th Street with stacks of money. I came up to my dad, I said, Dad, I don't want to be a barber. He was like, what do you want to be? I want to be a jeweler. He gave me $2,000. I went, became a diamond setter, became a successful jeweler. Tupac Shakur was one of my customers. You guys remember the star ring that he had? The famous star ring came from us. What's his name? Chris Rock was my customer. I had a jewelry store. I got robbed 2 times, lost a lot of money. Came to my father goes like, barbers don't get robbed that often, son. I think you should come to the field. So, here I am. You're right. Jewelry is all about detailing. So now, we're gonna detail him. Now, this technique that I'm using for some guys, it's not easy. You have to, again, practice, practice, practice. You see it? And now you're not gonna see it. It's fluffy also because I blow dry it. I'm gonna put some leave-in conditioner. You will see it's gonna settle down. be aware that the customer has to be, you saw how many times I use the blow dry on him? So he's clean. Still some hair will go in, he's gonna take a shower, but not like sometimes customer comes out, hair on his forehead, hair on his nose. Can't take that.
Keep it comfortable.
So now what I'm doing is opening up the cape again, and that's where I'm gonna check his starters on the bottom. Some of you guys work with the neck strips, not with PST towels, right? And now, the trick is those two sides have to evenly go on an angle. So that's when you check, when you open the cape up, when the skin is loose, that's how he walks. So now I'm checking that this side and this side, that side is a little deeper than that one. So now I'm just gonna adjust a little bit from here. So this is the finished product, guys.